Hi guys, I'm back. Today I've got something a little bit special to show you. It's the Bladnoch 15-year-old. This is a single malt Scotch whisky from the lowland region of Scotland. The Bladnoch distillery is the most southerly distillery in Scotland, I believe, or it used to be. Please correct me if I'm wrong on that. It's also one of the oldest distilleries in Scotland. It was established in 1817. It has closed and reopened a few times over the years. This is an older bottling of Bladnoch. It was released in the early part of the 2000s, I believe, when it was reopened. Yeah, that's correct. It has just recently reopened again, I believe. I think it closed down again a few years back, but it has recently reopened again, and they are now producing more whiskies. But this is one of the older bottlings, and I now believe that it is discontinued. This was from my holiday in Lisbon in Portugal. I picked it up in Lisbon last summer, over a year ago now. I opened it a month or two ago. I have been taking my time with this one. This whiskey cost me around £75. I don't know if you can still get it. I haven't checked, but I do know that it's very rare, and you will probably pay quite a lot of money for this. £75 isn't cheap for me, so this is a bit of a treat. I've been wanting to try Bladnoch for quite some time. I am a bit of a fan of lowland whiskies, and there really aren't that many distilleries in the lowland region, only 2 or 3 I believe. This is an older bottling, as I say, from the early 2000s, I believe. It does have a fairly old style label on the front with the sheep on the front there, and a pretty generic label on the back as well. Not a brilliant design, I would say. This particular whiskey is bottled at 55% alcohol, and I do believe that it was matured in ex-bourbon casks. It doesn't say anything on the bottle about that, but I don't think it has any sherry influence in this whiskey, looking at the colour of it. I poured some out a little while ago. As you can see, it's very pale in colour. I would say it's definitely matured in ex-bourbon casks exclusively. I'll try and get it in focus. It's very pale. It has a very strong nose. I can smell alcohol right away. quite hard to pick up anything else really. I can smell a very little bit of green apple. Just behind the alcohol. I don't want to put my nose too close to the glass. I can smell a little bit of pear as well. Other than that, not much else. Onto the taste. On my first sip, I get a very strong alcohol kick up front. It's definitely stronger than your average whiskey, and behind the alcohol I get some apple, green apple, pear, and a very dry finish at the back end. I'm going to have a second sip. On my second sip, I get the fruit up front instead of the alcohol burn. Apple, pear, apricot, but it's very subtle, and then in the mid palate the alcohol kicks in and I get a strong tingling on my tongue from the alcohol, and then at the back it goes very dry. It's a challenging whiskey, I would say. I'm going to have a third sip. Again, on my third sip, I get the apple, the pear, I also get vanilla this time, but it's very faint. And in the mid palate I get an alcohol burn on my tongue, and that trails off fairly quickly into a really dry finish. I think that might have something to do with the high ABV in this. I'm not sure what I make of this. It's a nice whiskey. I think it's a little strong in the ABV. It will probably be better with a drop or two of water. I don't generally put water on my whiskey, very rarely. It is drinkable without, but I think you might pick up a little bit more different flavours with a little bit of water. And it's only been in the glass for maybe 15 minutes. Maybe if I let it sit for half an hour to an hour before trying it, it might open up a bit. I'm going to give this whiskey a 7 out of 10. It's a good whiskey. It's strong. It's got some nice fruity flavours, but it doesn't blow me away. It's very light, and the finish is a little bit disappointing for me. I get some fruit up front, apple, pear and apricot, but it's very light, as I say, and then the alcohol takes over and pretty much kills whatever flavours I had at the start, and the finish is very, very short and dry. So I think a 7 is a fair score. It's quite expensive at £75 and it's very hard to find. I'm not even sure if it's still available. I haven't checked. I recommend it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to find a bottle. It's pretty decent stuff, but I could probably find something similar for half the price. It's decent, but nothing really special. Okay, that's it. I'll be back soon with another review. Take care. Bye bye.